So in this video, we're going to show you what a 6-figure service accommodation operator does in a day. So we're going to take you through how they manage their process, how they've acquired their properties, what it actually takes to be successful in this business. And if you're interested in the video, keep watching. Let's go right in. So I've got Sean O'Boyle with me. Welcome to the channel, Sean.
Hi, cheers.
So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Sean a series of questions about this property that he's been using on a rent-to-SA basis, right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
So, Sean, how did you come about acquiring this property in the first place?
Well, it started off when I was looking for rent-to-rents in general. I started off like rent-to-rent HMOs, and obviously I was doing a lot of advertising. I was doing a lot of telling people what I do. So I was doing lives on Facebook. Basically, he was a friend of mine, and he saw my live on Facebook about taking on landlords' properties and taking them on a guaranteed rent basis. So he kind of just reached out to me and just said, you know, I've got a property here down in Cardiff. So it's just if you want to come take a look and chat about what you do. So, and that kind of stemmed speaking to the landlord about this property, and obviously told him all the benefits and told him how it operates and what we do, and which he was pretty keen for. And yeah, so we kind of just took it on then, and we had a 3-year contract with the landlord and then took this property on. We obviously had to do a bit of work to it, which was obviously a benefit to the landlord. So we had to, we put new carpets in, we painted it and things like that. So obviously added value for the landlord, and then he was happy with what we were going to do and obviously did it. And then yeah, we took it on and he signed for 3 years. So
nice.
Yeah, it's been great.
So there's a lot to unpack there.
There is.
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll go through bit by bit, right? Okay, so you said that you acquired the landlord by doing Facebook Lives. So did you have a plan behind that? Is it?
Yeah, sure. So I just know from education, from training, they always say, tell everyone what you do.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just like, well, the only way, not only way, but one of the ways to tell everyone what you do is to jump online.
Yeah.
So I just thought the more I show myself online, you know, with posts on Facebook or lives and things like that, then people's going to see what I do. So to be honest, I wasn't hoping for any like anyone to interact or anything like that, but it was just, you know, I thought in my head, I haven't got any landlords who want to rent out their properties at the moment. Yeah. So if I do stuff online and no one says anything, then I still have, you know, nothing lost. So that's the way I kind of went about it. I just thought that if I just keep showing up online, telling people what I do, and just saying the benefits and how I operate and things like that, then maybe someone might know someone, or you know, one of my contacts actually have a property and reach out, and that's what happened. So
okay, essentially you were looking at like, okay, 0 to 1. There's no less. In this case, there's no -1. You know,
exactly.
There's nowhere to go left.
No.
Okay.
No.
So there's no net benefit to that. But if you can talk to as many people as possible, there is still a chance that something might happen, right?
Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
And you just, every time that you do that extra piece of content, that extra bit of conversation that you have, then your chances just increase exponentially as you do more volume. Is kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you know, like same as think about it as an estate agent. You know, if they're going to sell people's houses, like if no one knows they sell houses, then no one's going to reach out to them and say, would you like to sell my house? So it's the same thing, you know, if no one knows what I do, then how will anyone give me a property if I don't tell anyone? So yeah, it's more about just, you know, putting myself out there, but obviously doing, you know, all the other marketing channels as well. Not just that was just obviously one avenue to go down. But yeah, it's just literally what I can do to just tell people to get, you know, myself more out there and see where it goes.
Cool. So when you're presenting an offer like that, what kind of stipulations have you got in there? I know you said about 3 years, but what more do you need to know about like the offer that you put across for a guaranteed rent system? Yeah,
sure. So obviously is you know, you got to do a lot of due diligence on an area. Like if you're going to use it for service accommodation or short-term lets, you know, whichever word you want to use these days. Obviously you got to make sure that's going to work. You know, you've got to make sure there's demand in that area.
How are you doing that?
And you're going to be able to rent it out. So like to check demand, there's various ways to do it. You can check out like AirDNA, that's like a main website everyone knows about. So obviously you can see what the occupancy level is, what the average nightly rate is, things like that. Another way, you can just check Airbnb, see how many properties are in the area, see what the calendars are looking like, see if they're full, see if they're empty. Obviously you can check their reviews out as well, and see how many bookings they've had from those reviews. Now, granted, not everyone leaves reviews, but obviously if they've had a fantastic staying great, then more than likely they're going to leave a review. So
Right.
you can see from a property, you know, if they've only got 1 or 2 reviews and they've been operating for 10 years,
Yeah.
maybe there's not much demand, or they've had long-term bookings, or
Right.
so there are like things that you've got to be careful on, and you can't take it as read.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
obviously you add into your due diligence, so you're just stacking. Another way is management agencies as well. So there's a lot of Airbnb management agencies, so you can ring those management agencies in the area and ask them about, you know, I'm looking to get a property, you know, what's the demand like in the area if I gave you my property, what would be the numbers look like, would you, you know, and what are your fees, etc. as well.
Yeah.
So they're just various ways that you can, you know, see what the demand is going to be really, and what nightly rates you're going to get. And
You talked about fees. So how much are these platforms actually charging in fees?
Yeah, so they all vary. So Airbnb, if you're a professional host, it's generally 15%, no, so 18%.
Right,
It used to be 15.
Right, they increased it.
They've increased that to 18%.
Okay, right.
If you go to booking.com, they're 15%.
Right.
And then obviously there are other platforms out there as well that you can advertise on, and they all have their different fees, whether it's 10% or 12%.
Yeah.
But it's the same, you can get like bookings or referrals from other companies as well.
Right,
And they
okay.
generally charge about 10%,
Right,
which obviously is lower than still Airbnb and booking.com. So, but they're typical fees that you kind of have to account for, you know, in your numbers when you're looking at an SA unit.
Right, okay. So this property, one of the things I've noticed is like, it's good. It's not like you've like had to do anything majorly structural or anything like that, or it seems like you've, well, I'm not to be offensive or anything, but it seems like you've gone for, right, let's make it presentable.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like the top end, like flashy, like you see some of these Airbnbs, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
like, it's functional.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So is that like the tactic
Yeah,
that you go for?
so basically, you know, you got to be careful of your numbers. You know, like you can spend a lot of money on setting up a property to look really nice.
Yeah.
You know, you can put in, you know, £1,000 plus sofas, you know, £1,500 beds. You can make a property really nice, but you've got to look at your numbers. Like if you're attracting contractors, yes, okay, it still needs to be, you know, functional, still needs to be comfy, you know, still needs to be all the general things that most people want.
Yeah.
But you don't need to go overboard. You don't have to have like chandeliers coming from the ceiling. Like they don't care about that. They just want something that's warm. They got Wi-Fi, really comfy beds, and that's what all our reviews, you know, from our contractors is. The beds are lush. So we don't skimp on the bed side because we know
that's the most important. They're working all day, and then the last thing they want. Okay,
But you know what it's like. You know, everyone. You know, if you don't have a good night's sleep, you're grumpy, you're grouchy, and stuff like that.
I've been places where like it looks great, and then you get to the bed and you're like, "Whoa, no, I don't want to." I can remember that recently. A recent holiday, the beds were just hard. So you had a long day, and then next thing you know, hard beds, and it wasn't great. So that would have been like one of the feedback you would give on the review.
And then that hits then on your review. So you know, you don't want. That's the other thing. Obviously, a bad review can hit your ranking as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you want to show us the rest of the property then?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So tell me a bit more about this room.
Yeah, so this is our double room. Well, in this house there's 2 beds, so it's got 2 double beds in each one, but these are split and link beds as well.
Okay, what does that mean?
So basically these beds can be split into 2 singles.
Oh, right, okay.
So the mattress zips up, and obviously the beds are joined by a bolt through there.
Okay.
So basically,
I thought the contractors just want to snuggle.
you know, pre-COVID maybe, you know, COVID not so much anymore.
So beds wise then, you said comfy.
Yes,
comfy.
indeed.
I'm going to test this out.
See what you think.
Okay, this is actually a decent bed. No, these are good. These are much better than the last one I did anyway. Like, genuinely, that's much better. So
we get good reviews on our beds in all ours. So
the key to SA, good beds.
Definitely. You definitely need comfy beds, you know, because like I said, if the property in general, let's say it wasn't tidy or it wasn't, you know, to what they liked or things like that, but they had a decent night's sleep, at least when they're going to go to you about the problems they're having or whatever, at least they're not going to have a bad night's sleep beforehand. So, you know.
it was customer relationship management at its highest level. It was all psychological.
As long as you got nice comfy beds.
Yeah. The complaints can't be too that bad.
Exactly.
How much you spend on average to do like getting it up to scratch then, say?
Yeah, every property kind of varies because obviously the size of it.
Of course, yeah.
So obviously for a smaller, like this is a 2-bed property, then obviously furniture wise, you can only have 2 beds, you can only have fit in so much things. So furniture cost is less.
Yeah.
It depends what you've negotiated with the landlord as well. You might be able to get the landlords to spruce up the property beforehand.
Okay.
Or, you can negotiate on the rent and you can say, we can do X, Y, and Z to the property if we can have, just like 2-week rent period or a month rent free period.
Yeah.
So then we can actually, add value. We can do up your property. We can paint it, new carpets, etc.
Yeah.
And obviously that's all negotiable. So, but yeah, so your numbers can vary. But if you're talking just furniture, you're talking about 4 to 5 grand for a 2-bed, and then as you go up, you're talking like 6 grand, 7 grand. But you can go cheaper as well. Like you can source everything yourself. You can go on like Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, secondhand things.
That's what I was thinking is like you get some good stuff there.
Exactly, and you can.
Free
you can,
well, Okay, so let's go check out the rest of the property.
So if we come through here, we got the other double bedroom. It's just in here. So again, splitting like beds as well.
Yeah.
For this one, so same again, we can separate these out and have 2 people stay. So
yeah. Do you bulk order these?
No.
They come as a pack?
Yeah. So with this property, we actually, because it was our very first one, we end up paying for a package. So is it furniture-wise, you can either, like I said, you can do it all yourself, second-hand, or you can do it brand new, but do it yourself, B&M, Argos, etc. Or you can actually go to furnishing companies, that you can buy packages for SA.
So that's what you did for this?
So for this very first one, that's what we did.
Oh, right, okay.
So this one, I think it was about 4.5K, I think, package.
Yeah. And they come with this?
And they come, that's it.
Okay,
cool. And all the canvases and everything like that. So.
Okay.
But they do everything as well. They deliver it, they set it up.
They set it up?
They set it up.
Oh,
so
that would be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to phone them for my house. They can do my whole house. Like, that's what I need.
Exactly.
Grass to do shelves.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It's like, no, I don't want to do shelves.
Everyone's different though, isn't it?
I hate it. Like, I hate it with a passion.
I don't mind too much. Yeah. It depends. I've been brought
You're handy though. Yeah. Like, I'm not handy. It's not my nature. So to know that service accommodation is accessible to someone like myself who doesn't want to get involved in anything. Sounds cool.
Yeah, definitely. It can be a hands-off as much as possible.
That's good. Just leave it to them. You do the whole thing. Amazing. I like that. So if you go in you just Googling these, or you got maybe we could leave recommendations and stuff like that in the comments maybe. If anybody needs to ask, if you got recommendations, maybe Sean got a referral link.
Sure have.
Yeah, there you go. Doesn't miss a chance to get a referral link, this guy. So you've got everything pretty much set up. What are the kind of downsides to this then? Because to me, this strategy seems like, why would anybody else do anything but this, right? Like, tell me a bit more.
Yeah, so in my eyes, it's much better than a typical rental. Yeah, right. So when I say typical rental, I mean your typical buy-to-let, your tenant.
Yeah.
So to me, it's these days now, I think it's just gone one way too far in terms of like tenant rights stuff. Granted, I do agree with the property should be well looked after, it should be well ventilated, there shouldn't be mold, and landlords should look after that side of things. But the problem is it's all one way for tenants these days, in my opinion. So, if a tenant was drying all their clothes, and making the property mouldy, but on their part,
not ventilating it correctly,
exactly, not opening the windows and things like that, then it falls back to the landlord. Yes, it is the landlord's problem then, but it wasn't.
They didn't know the causation.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So with that side of things for tenants, for me, is just I just don't agree with. There's no fair way between landlords and tenants these days. So that's why I like the SA short-term rental model. Now, obviously, the positive side of it is you'll always get your payment, because obviously they book in advance, they pay in advance. Obviously, if you've got normal tenants, then it's up to them if they pay or not, but you can't
I said schmedium then. Like short term to medium, because they're not like 2 or 3 nights typically in the way that you're saying. If you're getting the contractors, you're not really doing that. Like if you're getting like a 3-month booking or even 9 months in some cases, right?
Yeah.
Like those are definitely on the kind of longer term side. So kind of you're getting the best of both worlds in
Which is why we went that way though, to be honest, because like I said, we started with the 2-night stays, the 3-night stays, things like that. But we very quickly realised there's a lot of hassle and a lot of work involved with that. So that's when we kind of started looking at the contractor market and thinking, well, hang on, if we had the longer stays, you know, with contractors who are not so fussy on things, you know, and like if there are problems, then because they're contractors, they tend to fix things. So,
right, sounds good. Let's see the rest of the property.
Cool.
I'm guessing communal area.
So this is the dining room, sorry.
Communal dining area then.
So, so obviously, I don't know if it get used much, because obviously most people, they just like to chill in front of the TV, you know, eat food in front of the TV as such. But yeah, you know, like I said, we generally have, you know, 2, possibly 4 people on average stay here. So, you know, hence why we only got 4 chairs in this one.
Cool. So I noticed you got things locked up.
Yeah, so we got cleaning cupboards in every property. And obviously because we want to put our personal stuff in there for the property. And obviously like cleaning supplies as well. Right. So emergency sets of cleaning, any linen, stuff like that. Right. Or, you know, any hand wash, you know, soap, things like that. Then obviously can all be stored in there. Or if there's just anything in particular for the property that we need to just remove, that a guest has left behind, for example. Obviously we got a cleaning cupboard to just put it in for the time being, just while we, you know, take that next guest, and then obviously we can sort out once they leave. So yeah, very handy to have, and everyone needs a cleaning cupboard and lockable.
Lockable places. You can
okay.
So cool. Let's check out the kitchen.
Sure.
Tell me a bit more about the kitchen, dude.
Well, it's obviously quite a small kitchen, but again, like I said, it's only a 2-bed property, so typical kitchen really. It's got all your appliances in, obviously built-in fridge freezer, built-in washing machine, which is obviously very handy for contractors, obviously doing all their washing, things like that. So yeah, obviously contractors use it quite a lot, to be fair. It's the reason why contractors choose to stay in like a property like this.
Was this done before or after?
Yeah, this was done before.
Oh, right, okay.
So we didn't have to do anything in here. No, so...
What's this little device over here?
So this is our Nest, which is a smart thermostat.
Okay.
So we have a smart thermostat in every property we have, because guests like to leave heating on, you know, and go out for the day, which is obviously comes off your top line. You know, again, looking at the numbers, you know, if a guest is going to keep the heating on constantly when they're out on the jolly, especially Cardiff, you know, you can say they're not really going to stay in the property. They've come to Cardiff because they want to explore Cardiff. So, you know, they tend to either deliberately keep the heating on so it's warm when they come home, or they just completely forget and go out. So by having a smart thermostat in every property, you can control the heating, you know, set your times, you know, and obviously if they want to boost it, they can, if they have that option. But obviously it comes on, you know, we have our normal times, comes on in the mornings and comes on in the evenings, and usually sometimes in the day as well, you know, especially on weekends, say. But the guests have still full control in terms of they can turn the heating up, they can boost it and things like that. But obviously they can only boost it for say a half hour or an hour, and then they have to boost it again. So if they're in the property, you know, okay, they might say it's hassle, but they have to keep boosting it every hour. But we rather that hassle than them going out for the day. So we make sure, you know, every property has that in there. So obviously it keeps your heating bills down. Because
what are you typically paying in bills for like a 2-bedroom, like for like electric? I wonder, is it like similar to what you'd be paying in like your house or something?
No, so it's always higher in an SA unit, because there's more people that's in it generally, or they don't care about the bills as well, so they might leave all the lights on in the house. They might leave the heating on, for example, you know, and go out for the day. And obviously you've got contractors and they're constantly using the washing machine because every day you need to wash stuff, whereas if you're at home you might leave it till the weekend and do all your washing on the weekend. So you know, the bills are generally higher, but for this property we're generally talking about 200-250 quid it could be for just gas and electric. But obviously it depends, your summertime, your heating bill will be obviously less.
Yeah.
So again, it's, a 12-month term is SA. So, your bills are going to be higher in the winter and be lower in the summer. So, that's the kind of, typically bills in general, you have your gas, electric, your council tax or business rates, depending on which one you can go on. Yeah. And potentially business rates can be higher. You can get small business rates relief as well to reduce it to 0. So that obviously helps off your bottom line. Yeah. And obviously you got your broadband as well, that's generally 30, 35 quid a month as well. So, you've got to take into account all your bills, and that's obviously going to come off on your bottom line. So, that's what I said at the start when you're doing your numbers, you have to put everything into account of what worst case your numbers are going to be. Yeah. And if they're better than that, then it's great because it makes you more profit.
Yeah. So. Nice. Well, Sean, thanks for showing us around this property. We've got a few more to view today. So we've got another property that we're going to take us to. Yeah. So we better hop on over today. Yeah. But let's go, dude.
Lovely. Thanks.